Running back nation, what is good? Welcome to another episode of Running Back Philly. Lunchtime live right here, live at lunchtime. For your daily 76ers / NBA news, and it is the offseason. It is May 20th. It's the offseason for us. It's been the offseason for Sixers fans for what feels like 2 months now, I think. It's actually been pretty much the offseason all season because I knew the season was over by Game 3 in November. But anyway, yeah, it is May 20th, and we are going live to talk about off-season reports, responding to other off-season reports. This is the off-season. This is what we do. And basically, yesterday, report came out. Wasn't even really a report, which I called on the money. It wasn't even really a report. It was a little half a paragraph in a mock draft article on ESPN. And you crazy maniacs on Twitter took that little two-sentence excerpt from a mock draft article and ran with it, and it got posted everywhere. And so I gave my opinion on it. We talked about the Kevin Durant idea. We talked about the Lauri Markkanen idea. But the whole time I said, Daryl Morey didn't say that. We don't know if it's true just because some guy that did a mock draft on ESPN said that other teams expect. But anyway, the 76ers pretty much shot it down pretty quickly, and that's what we're going to talk about. Then we're going to listen to more Podcast P because Paul George on his podcast with Wallow and Gillie, he talked about the injuries that he had last season, and it's interesting, and I want to ask you guys if Podcast P's plan to win back Sixers fans before next season starts is a good idea, and is it working? All right. And then a little bit of Tyrese Maxey replying to a fan on Twitter with a video of him shooting 63 pointers in a row that we're going to talk about. I think that's everything, right? Yeah. That's it, man. Hit the like button for me one time. 173 people in here. Give me 173 likes. Shout out to the members in the chat. RJ, I'm going to catch the replay. Daylight and Joey Badass going back and forth. We'll be back, though. What are they, like, arguing on Twitter, or is this a rap battle? Because I'm a little bit of a battle rap head from back in the day, and Daylight is a lot of fun. I don't know too much about Joey Badass, but hey, what's up, man? Thank you for being here. RJ7 Deuce in the building. Yeah, we got to get some new custom emotes. We still have the crumble cookie emote. We still got a Buddy Healed emote. Yeah, we gotta update the emotes, man. Shout out to all the members in the building. Sketch 7, that Paul George podcast was worse than we could possibly imagine. Well, you know how it is with 76ers topics, or the 76ers in general. It can always get worse. Who told me that? Somebody. There's a comment that I got that I will never forget, and he said, "Don't worry, it will get worse. Worse than you could possibly imagine." So we're used to it, man. Anyway, here's the report from yesterday, just to refresh your memory. There's an expectation among NBA teams. This is a new way to make up a fake report. I got to give it to them. It's really admirable throughout the whole offseason how people come up with different wordage to spit out a made-up rumor. This is a new one. There's an expectation among NBA teams that the 76ers could actively include a trade package surrounding Paul George and the 3rd overall pick for names including Kevin Durant and Lauri Markkanen. It's just wildly vague, and like when you hear things like that, you gotta just... I know a lot of y'all aren't used to it yet, because a lot of you send me stuff like this, and you including Kevin Durant and Lauri Markkanen. And like when you hear things like to it yet, because this you say, did you see this? Daryl Morey's an idiot. And I'm like, bro, where did that even come from? Some dude that was making a mock draft said there's an expectation among NBA teams. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, pretty shortly thereafter, actually, yesterday at about 6 p.m., this was posted on the same Twitter page, Sixer Galaxy, which shout out to Sixer Galaxy if you want to keep up to date with Sixers news. They post everything on their Twitter page. Anyway, just a couple hours later, Philly Sixers Galaxy said, the Sixers have given no consideration to possibly trading Paul George and the 3rd overall pick for players such as Kevin Durant or Lauri Markkanen, per Sixers Adam. Here's Sixers Adam, an excerpt from the article that he wrote. A league source told Philly Voice that the team has given no consideration to such possibilities to date. The team appears singularly focused on adding a premium young talent to a core featuring 24-year-old Tyrese Maxey, 21-year-old Jared McCain, and 24-year-old upcoming restricted free agent Quentin Grimes, rather than using the pick as a tool to upgrade its veteran base. This is what I was saying, and this isn't because of Daryl Morey. This is because the 76ers, even though you guys think Josh Harris doesn't care about the Sixers, all right, I think Josh Harris has done a flat-out terrible job since owning the 76ers, and he doesn't care if they win, don't get me wrong, that doesn't change his profits whatsoever, but the owners care about making money, all right? And you can't go all eggs in one basket with a bunch of old dudes and trade future draft picks to put more old dudes on the team, because when that all blows up, you're underneath the basement and you got no future. And what happens when you have no future? The fans disappear for a long time. That's why the team was for sale in the first place when Josh Harris and Blitzer and whoever the hell else, Scott O'Neal and the guy that owns Fanatics and all these idiots, Michael Rubin, the guy that throws these weird Jay-Z Diddy parties, all these weird billionaires. It's the reason they bought the team in the first place, because it was under the basement. They don't want to be back there. That's not why they bought this. So they're not stupid in that respect. They might know nothing about basketball, but they know we have a brand new arena coming in 2030. We don't give a shit if Joel Embiid wins a championship. We don't care if Paul George wins a championship. We don't care if Daryl Morey wins a championship and saves his job, or if Daryl Morey doesn't win and we fire him. We don't care if Nick Nurse gets back to the NBA Finals to resurrect his career or save his reputation. The only thing owners care about is profits. And they want to build a new arena in 2030. They went through all the ropes to get it approved and make the deal with Comcast after they backed out of the deal within the Chinatown and all that stuff. They know you can't be giving up future prospects to try to win now when you have an arena coming in 2030. That's where this is coming from. Go ahead, do your thing, Daryl Morey. Try to save your reputations. Try to save your job by making moves between the lines and in between the margins. But you can't be giving up prospects like Ace Bailey, who very well could turn into an NBA star by the year 2030. Imagine that. Imagine they trade it for Kevin Durant, right? And they don't win, and 2 years later, Joel Embiid's retired, Paul George is retired, Kevin Durant's retired, and Ace Bailey in 2031 is a damn NBA star. And you got a new arena, you don't have the, you know what I mean? You just can't do it. So that's where it's coming from. So it's nice to hear that. I think it's pretty wild that they put it out that quickly. And the Draft Express, air quotes report, wasn't really a report at all. It came from nowhere. It's just a guy that was writing a mock draft that was like, hey, other teams expect the 76ers to be in talks of trading Paul George in the 3rd pick for Kevin Durant or Lauri Markkanen. Philly Voice, Sixers Adam on Philly Voice says a league source told Philly Voice. So that means, to me, in my opinion, Daryl Morey and company said, hey, shut this down as fast as possible because we're not trading that pick. And so a source goes directly to the Philly Voice and says, hey, we have no plans on trading this pick. We want to add another young talent next to 24-year-old Tyrese Maxey, Jared McCain. I love the fact that they throw in the name Quentin Grimes, and Philly Sixers Galaxy makes sure he reiterates that underneath the tweet. A league source included Quentin Grimes when talking about the Sixers' future core. So the 76ers have obvious vested interest in keeping Quentin Grimes, but they want to keep him so much so that they're saying his name when they say Tyrese Maxey and Jared McCain. They're saying Quentin Grimes. So that lets me know also it seems like the 76ers are going to do everything possible to keep Quentin Grimes. They can match any offer he gets. It'll be very interesting when free agency starts, what happens with Quentin Grimes, what offers he gets, and what offers the 76ers match. But yeah, so the Sixers team basically said, hey, go tell Philly Voice and other people that that's not true. On the other side of it, very well could just be the Sixers playing the game, not showing their cards, right? If you were gonna talk about trading the number 3 pick and Paul George for Kevin Durant or Lauri Markkanen, you wouldn't tell people that on May 20th. So, who the hell knows what happens on draft night? Who the hell knows what happens when Adam Silver walks up there and says, with the number 3 pick, he very well could say the 76ers have traded blah, blah, blah. So, shooting it down that fast this early could be the 76ers front office just playing the game, but you never know. But I think, and as I said yesterday, that I don't think ownership has any interest in giving up future prospects to try to win now, because winning now does nothing for an ownership group. It doesn't make you any more money to win now. Your only interest as an ownership group is longevity, and they have a new arena coming in 2030. Their interest is longevity, and so I don't think they're going to trade the pick. I think straight up they're going to draft Ace Bailey. And I think, I've thought that since they got the 3rd pick, every mock draft, Cooper Flag, Dylan Harper, Ace Bailey. People want to talk about VJ Edgecombe all they want. People want to talk about Trey Johnson all they want. People want to talk about Kneppel. People want to talk about Maluach. It's Ace Bailey at number 3. I mean, the odds on that should be a minus 9,000. Beastin 88, what's going on? Thank you for the super chat. Can we trade GMs Daryl Morey for Brad Stevens? Well, wouldn't that be nice? Now, I don't necessarily know if I would go Brad Stevens, honestly. If I could trade for any GM in the world, I'd probably trade for Danny Ainge, who is the one who built that Boston Celtics roster. Really, if you think about it, Brad Stevens might have destroyed it. But, that's neither here nor there. PG is closer to playing somewhat healthy than Embiid. We need Paul George to have a winning record so we can avoid giving a lottery pick to OKC next year again. Top 4 protected next year, right? And then it turns into a 2nd round pick in 2027, I believe. But what does this mean? Paul George is closer to playing somewhat healthy than Embiid. We need Paul George to have a winning record. Do we? Bro, I vaguely remember. No, not vaguely. I specifically remember. I very clearly remember. The opposite of vaguely remember. I very clearly remember Paul George last season with no Joel Embiid against the Charlotte Hornets dropping a whopping 5 points. I very specifically remember that. I have no faith in Paul George doing anything. But speaking of Paul George, why don't we go ahead and talk about that? Because yesterday the information came out that Podcast P is back, and their marketing tactic was to bring Gillie Da Kid and Wallow for $1 million worth of game onto the show to, have Paul George face the fire and get real get a real opinion from a real Philly fan face to face. And I think it's a great marketing tactic. Somebody in the comments said this whole thing was scripted. That's fine if you believe that. I love the way Gillie talks about the Sixers and the way that he loves Philly sports, being from Philly. Somebody yesterday was mad at my Gillie Da Kid introduction because I said that he came up rapping on the streets of Philly back in the Meek Mill days. That's how I said it. Somebody said that he had 2 albums out before Meek Mill was ever a thing, and it's offensive, and I should give him the right introduction. Listen, I'm sorry I didn't study Gillie Da Kid's entire life and give a biography on YouTube. Anyway, I just wanted to say that. My bad for getting that wrong. You know what I mean? But yeah, I think it was a solid tactic by the Podcast P team to do this. And so now they've posted, a couple of clips at length. And by the way, shout out to Podcast P. Whether I love it or hate it, whether I think an active player should have a podcast or not, when it comes to the off season, you're giving me content to react to. And so, you know what? Thank you, Podcast P, for having a podcast and never shutting up, because I can always listen to it and give my opinion. And yeah, but anyway, I think it's a good tactic to, and we're going to listen to what Podcast P said and decide if his goal to win Philly fans back before next season starts is working. Super chat from Riaz. Thank you for the support. Eastwood, would you trade the Clippers unprotected 2028 pick and Paul George for marketing? I agree he is overrated, but this is a good deal, I feel. Unprotected 2028 and Paul George. I have a bad feeling, man. I have a bad feeling about that 2028 unprotected first round pick, because the Clippers are going to be in the basement. The Clippers are going to be in the bottom floor, in the depths of hell by 2028. I mean, name a player that the Clippers are have a future with. Dude, that's just a couple. That could very well be the best pick in the draft. And when you look at the best pick in the draft, who knows? I don't look at prospects far enough ahead to know who's going to be the number 1 pick in the draft in 2028. But imagine you traded 2025 pick. Imagine you had an unprotected pick from whoever won the first round, Dallas Mavericks, right? Imagine you traded that a couple years ago, and then you come up to the draft and it's Cooper Flagg. And you're like, wow, that was our pick. And we traded it for Lauri Markkanen. We traded it for hopefully a number 3 option. We traded it basically for Mikal Bridges. I don't think I'm trading that 2028 unprotected for anything. But if that would happen, that would happen. I think I'm just over the 76ers trying to build a winning roster right now. I'm ready to see some development. I'm ready to see some growth. I'm over this. Like, let's get this guy and try to win next year. It seems like we do the same thing all the time. Nah, I wouldn't do it. Anyway, yeah, here's the clips from the Podcast P show and what Gillie said to Podcast P, and we'll give our opinion on it. Oh,
Philadelphia fan. We frustrated, bro. I represent the real Philadelphia fan. We frustrated, bro. It's not like we don't got the talent. We have the talent. It's like we can't even get everybody on the court together, man. Philadelphia, we like to see effort. Allen Iverson didn't win. He will always be the GOAT around the because he put in 100% effort. Mm-hmm. He left everything on the floor. Brian Dawkins never won around here. He will always be a GOAT because when our eyes looked at Brian Dawkins, it said he gives up maximum effort.
Those are my 2 GOATs, actually, Allen Iverson and Brian Dawkins.
Every single time.
Every snap.
Every snap.
I do feel, bro, look, he's looking into his soul when he's saying this. And Podcast P sitting there with the shades on like, yeah, every snap.
Every snap.
Every snap. Jason Kelsey, same thing. This around there.
He's talking to you.
Why are they goats? When we watch them, we watch him give up maximum effort and put life on the line. And we respect that. We a hard work city that ain't got shit, bro. You gotta understand, when the Eagles lose, it feel like cousin died, bro. Like a, not like first cousin, second, like a third cousin died. Like, just seen at the cookouts a couple times, but you know he your cousin.
Right.
So when he died, you might not be crying, but you like, damn,
But you sad.
Johnny, we a poor city, bro. Everybody house touch, man. If a in the crib arguing with his, you hear everything. The sports for us is everything. That's just like an escape, like, you know what I mean?
Man, the Pat.
He's really spitting it real, and I think he's saying this because I think he knows that Paul George doesn't really understand this. You know what I'm saying? He's really giving it to him, man, because I think Gillie really thinks I need to tell this dude how it really is, because I don't think he gets it. Let's hear what he said in response to that.
You know what I mean?
Man, the passion that I felt here, and obviously I played for, Indiana was probably one of, Oklahoma, even Clippers, passionate about their team. The passion is serious there. I think for y'all breed champions. Like, y'all have had monumental champions from boxing, football. Phillies won it. Like, y'all know what it's like to win.
And our parades is the best.
Well, that was kind of a disappointing response. Okay. I guess I would have had to listen to the whole podcast to really get his full response to that. But here's the one that people were talking about yesterday. Paul George opens up about the struggles in his first year with the Sixers and positive outlook ahead. Positive outlook ahead. Now, remember to let me know in the chat if you believe what he says in this clip.
I'm gonna keep it all the way real. I gave you a pass this year. This year, you gotta go stupid.
Why'd you give him a pass? What'd you give him a pass for?
I'm gonna keep it all the way real. I gave you a pass this year. This year, you gotta go stupid.
A $50 million pass. Wow.
Bro.
Nah, 100%. The most frustrating thing about the last season was, obviously I came in, I was healthy. I didn't have no hiccups. I spent the whole offseason working on my body, getting healthy, and then I get to Philly. Preseason, I get hurt. And from that point on, like, I didn't give it full time to heal. I got an expectation. I'm not going to leave them hanging. I want to go out there and play. I'm out there and it's like, damn, like, I know something ain't right. Obviously, the hyperextension, my knee was still bothering me. I had the brace for a long time. From the brace, I started to develop quad tendon injury. Then I had an injury that I didn't even know. And this was the original of why I was feeling like something's off. Come to find out, I had a torn adductor. And the whole time it's just like, people like the Philly fans can be rough on you. I was cool with it because it, again, at the end of the day, it's an expectation that they hold. And I respect that. I'm not one that's going to shy away from that. I want that heat. You know what I mean? I want that pressure. It just was unfortunate that, like, man, I can't give them everything I got. And I ain't here for no excuses. I didn't hold up to my bargain, right? But I do know, and I have learned what I need to go and do going forward.
Well, listen, I respect it. I respect his honesty. And I want to say, I guess, two things. Like, because I did watch Paul George in the preseason. I did see how he looked in the preseason. I mean, it was only a game and a half. I had a video, a post-game live show after a preseason game that was titled "The Paul George Effect is Real." I thought that his gravity with the ball in his hands was unbelievable. And you could see the pressure that he was taking off of Tyrese Maxey. In that one single preseason game, he was drawing double teams, and I saw it. And then I saw the hyperextended knee. And then, yeah, he had the brace. And then he hyperextended the knee again. And now he's saying that he had the brace on and that he formed a quad tendon injury, okay? Then you had the pinky injury, which is just fucking hilarious. Like, what they should have, did they ask him about that? Like, bro, hyperextended knee, okay. Quad tendon injury, okay. You're 35, you got a quad injury or a hamstring, whatever. If you're going to sit here and claim that I tried my best, I would at least expect you to be out there with a pinky injury, bro. You know what I'm saying? When you miss a month with a pinky, that's the one where Philly fans were like, all right, fuck this guy. You know what I'm saying? Fuck this guy, dude. He's missing 3 weeks with a pinky injury on his opposite hand. If you want me to believe that you're going to give 100% effort, you should be. I don't care if you lost your pinky in a damn sword fight, bro. You're getting paid $50 million. You can play basketball with 9 fingers. You know what I mean? You don't need your pinky. That's the one that I thought was insane. But if we're going off of just the hyperextended knee, and then he hyperextended it again, and then a quad tendon injury, and then something about a torn adductor, what the freak is that?
Frustrating thing about the last season was, obviously I came in, I was healthy. I didn't have no hiccups. I spent the whole offseason working on my body, getting healthy, and then I get to Philly. Preseason, I get hurt.
Mm-hmm.
And from that point on, like, I didn't give it full time to heal. I got an expectation. I'm not going to leave them hanging. I want to go out there.
I respect that he kept going out there. I do respect that he kept going out there with the hyperextended knee, with the big knee brace on and all that. I respect that.
And play.
He was trash, but I respect it.
I'm out there and it's like, damn, like, I know something ain't right. Obviously, the hyperextension, my knee was still bothering me. I had the brace for a long time. From the brace, I started to develop, quad tendon injury. Then I had an injury that I didn't even know, and this was the original of why I was feeling like something's off. Come to find out, I had a torn adductor.
See, why are we getting an injury report on Podcast P's podcast that was never reported by Philadelphia 76ers medical staff? Like, why are we getting an injury report 2 months after the season is basically over? That you had what is a torn adductor? A torn abductor refers to a tear of the abductor muscle or tendon. Abductor muscle is responsible for pulling a body part away from the midline of the body. Torn abductors can be caused by degeneration or trauma. All right, so here's the bottom line, okay? If Paul George was giving 100% effort, and he's not a fraud, okay, and he didn't just come here to rob the 76ers of a $200 million contract, and he was really trying, but he just kept getting hurt, guess what that means? That means you're washed. Washed and dried, bro. Turn on the dryer because the wash is done. All right? Here's your chores. Go change the laundry because the wash is done. Paul George is down there in the washing machine. He's clean as a whistle because he's washed. You see what I'm saying? You can't give me a 35-year-old player and then he has 17 injuries in 16 games and be like, oh, well, just wait till next year. He got hurt 17 times because he's washed, because he's 35. That's my problem with it. It's not Paul George. If that's true, it's not Paul George's fault. It's Daryl Morey's fault because the motherfucker is 35 years old, man. I didn't think I was going to do that. But hey, listen, I'm going to give Podcast P a pass. Yeah, I think you owe me at least 50 grand of that 50 million. I'm not going to lie. For watching you all season. I think every Philadelphia fan, I think you should take that 50 mil and divide it amongst 76ers fans that watched you. I think we deserve that much. But anyway, we're going to give you a pass. Because now you know what I mean? You want to come up here and blame it all on injuries? If that's fine, I'll give you the benefit of the doubt. You were trying, you were just hurt. I cooked. Now you need to show me you're not cooked. I don't get it. I don't understand what he can do next season. How are you going to not get hurt next season if the reason you stunk up the joint was because you can't stop getting hurt? But I guess we have no choice but to give him a pass because he's signed for that money, bro. Yo, Keith Richmond, man, thank you for the super chat. Thank you for the support. Keep up the great content. I renewed my 76ers season tickets for the 7th year. Wow. Keith Richmond, I respect your dedication. I feel like it's getting to the point with the 76ers where you might be one of the last. You might be one of the few remaining renewing your 76ers season tickets. Yo, Brian Pumper, what's up? Thanks for the super chat. Thought the VJJ heads were horrible, but the KD fannies are killing me. What the VJJ? Who the hell's that? VJJ? But the horrible KD fannies are killing me. 40-year-old man, take your cougar hunting festivities somewhere else. I'm gonna be honest, Brian. I don't even know what the hell you're talking about, bro. I don't know what that. I don't know what any of that means. You don't want the 76ers to trade for Kevin Durant. Okay, that's fine. I don't know who VJJ heads are. I'm trying to think. I don't know. But thank you for the super chat. Yeah. Was there something else I wanted to talk about? This pissed me off. I thought this was going to make me feel good. That's what she said. I thought this was going to make me feel better. That's also what she said. It's just leaving me with more questions. That's also... I don't know, man. Like, I respect that he's facing the fire. I respect the fact that they brought Gillie on there to give it to him straight from a real Philadelphia sports fan. He's saying he tried his best and he was just hurt all the time. And okay, so that's not a reason to hate you on a personal level, but you're also just telling everybody that you're washed. You're washed. You know what I'm saying? You don't have it anymore, bro. You're 35 years old. You're out here complaining about playing 82 games. You don't even want to play basketball anymore, man. You are quoted as saying, how am I going to get through this next one? Bro, just quit. Stop doing it. You don't have to do it anymore. That's the crazy part to me. You have millions and millions of dollars. I'm sure you're a smart guy. I'm sure you have plenty of investments in real estate and properties and restaurants, etc. Unless your wife is taking all the money. I don't want to go there. But you don't have to do this, man. You can just stop. You can just be a podcaster. You can just you can be on Run It Back TV on FanDuel, which, by the way, they stole my YouTube name and I should file a lawsuit. You can go on that show. You could go on the Gills Arena show. You could maybe be on ESPN if you stop getting a black eye, because they probably don't want you to wear sunglasses on ESPN. But you could go on, you know, you don't have to keep playing basketball. That's all I'm saying, man. Yo, Aunt C, what's up, bro? Member of the channel for 18 months. Thank you for the support. I'm just happy they're doubling down on keeping the pick. I'm ready for the future. No hope with Joel and Paul George on the roster. Process has been untrusted. Yeah, we're done with the process, man. Bro, there's a Gillie rant, man, where he goes nuts. Maybe it's actually at the end of this clip. Let's hear it.
And the whole time it's just like, people like expectation. I want that. No excuse. Learn.
Nah, somebody sent me a clip where Gillie really went off about the process and oh man, it's not here, bro. Yeah, it's not here.
He left.
Well, anyway, that's all I got, man. Thank you guys for tuning in today. Thank you for hanging out. And I will catch you on the next one. Have your